So I was recently asked, what's the best sales advice I've ever received? Well, it's actually a little bit contradictory to what people would think. The best advice I ever got was from a guy named Connor. He told me once, if you don't feel like quitting this job once a month, you're doing it wrong. I know what you're thinking, well, that's the least helpful bit of advice I've ever heard. But you have to understand what that really means. See, my favorite part of sales is the growth that happens. There's results and there's you, and you've got to find that way to get there. And there's no room for excuses or blame or entitlement. You've just got to get better. And a lot of those times, you're actually developing personal traits and personal habits that are going to help you get to where you need to go. So when it comes to understanding that, well, where does growth actually come from? Well, growth comes from difficulty. The only time you actually have to grow is when you've got the leverage that you need to grow. You've got something that needs you to change. I need to get this in order to get this goal. I need to change this habit or develop this skill in order to achieve what I need to achieve. When you're thinking about that, you have to understand, well, the only way that's ever going to really happen is in the crucible of failure. And so when things add up and when problems stack up and the pressure all gets too much, that's almost 10 times out of 10 is going to be when you develop and when you grow and when you learn. And if you shuck that, or if you throw in the towel, or if you give up and quit, you're never really going to achieve what you need to achieve to get the skills. One of my favorite stats is that I think it's like 60% of people who win the lottery end up broke. It's not because they want to, it's because they don't actually have the skills to manage and retain that money. The same is with any kind of success. You see, when you succeed, it's never a matter of circumstance. It's always a matter of skills. If you amalgamate and gather the skills that you need, success is inevitable. And that's the kind of mentality you need. And so if you're understanding how important the skills actually are to your success and your growth and development, well, you need to be challenging yourself. There's a Taoist symbol, everybody knows it, is the yin yang. The yin yang it's a really simplistic drawing. It's you got the big circle and it's got the big S in it, and there's on one side it's the white side with the little black dot in it, and the other side is the black side with the little white dot in it. And it symbolizes order and chaos. But most people don't actually know when you're actually looking at this. The thing that you're looking at is actually going to be, let's say I've got my big circle. That S in the middle is where you're actually supposed to be traversing. It's where you as the journeyman, as the person on your journey, need to be finding your way to balance on that line. That you've got enough routine and expectability and habits that will keep you safe, that keeps you feeling like, okay, I can predict these certain outcomes. But if you're not growing, you're going to feel empty. And that's where that chaos comes in, that black serpent. The whole idea is that you're trying to challenge yourself and you're trying to have those inevitabilities that change things. And it never happens easily. Easy change is an oxymoron. The only way change really comes is when you really challenge yourself. So when I look at the best advice I've ever gotten, it's well, if you're not feeling like quitting once a month, what that means is that you have to be challenging yourself. You have to be biting off more than you can chew. Complacency is the biggest killer in this game. I heard a quote from Eric Thomas, one of the big motivational speakers. He said, a crocodile, it's one of the most dangerous animals in the animal kingdom. It actually can kill lions and regularly does. But human beings can actually kill a crocodile with their bare hands. And why that is that after a crocodile has a big meal, they completely paralyze. Their body actually completely shuts down so that it can work through the meat and things that it's digested. And it literally can't even defend itself. And so a lot of salespeople have that same mentality. They eat big, they get that big commission, they get that the big pay rise, they get promoted, they get all of these things, and then all of a sudden they think they can take the foot off the gas. We as salespeople know that's the worst possible thing that you can do, because the moment that you get complacent and the moment that you stop being hungry, you're going to lose everything you have. Sales is not a coasting job. If you want a coasting job, go work in a warehouse. Go do something that doesn't require you to be a leader and to be more. So the advice, I guess, by way of the saying of if you don't feel like quitting once a month, what it really means is you need to be challenging yourself so much that it tests you, that it makes you wonder if you can still hack it. It makes you wonder if this is really for you. Because those doubts and those questions and that pain and that anguish that you feel, that's the catalyst for you to really grow. So once you understand how important growth is in sales, and once you understand how important skills are in sales, you're never going to not look out for those opportunities. You're never going to seek those opportunities. The bigger, my dad's got a saying. He says, a lot of people say don't bite off more than you can chew, and I'm the opposite. I'll bite off way more than I can chew, and then I'll just chew like hell and have a sore jaw. That's how all of us need to feel as salespeople. If you don't feel like quitting once a month, you're doing it wrong. Happy hunting, guys.